This is Austin Liti Limits, where authors talk to authors about books and the craft of storytelling. Sponsored by Blue Ink Review, because typing the end is just the beginning. Find out more at blueinkreview.com. Pictures of the Shark is a collection of stories that moves from the surreal world of childhood to the adult arenas of sex, addiction, art, and ambition. A reading by award-winning author Thomas H. McNeely.
I'm going to read from a story in my collection, Pictures of the Shark. The story is entitled Hester, and it's told from the perspective of a 19-year-old young woman named Sarah, who has just gotten a job at a Pizza Hut, her first year of college, and she and her boyfriend have just moved into a house near Robert Mueller Airport in Austin in the late 80s, in not a very good neighborhood. So here's Hester. She's talking to Hester about picking up a dinner shift, is what Sarah wants from Hester in this scene. Hester narrowed her eyes through her smoke, calculating, Sarah thought, how much she ought to be insulted. Wanting ain't got nothing to do with it, Hester said. This is where I am. You got to be where you are to get any place else. Sarah wanted to ask Hester from what inspirational poster in the tiny manager's office she had gleaned such wisdom, but turned to ash her cigarette so that Hester wouldn't see what she thought. What's your 5-year plan? Hester said, in a tone that suggested she'd seen Sarah's thought clearly. Everybody needs a plan. Had any friend of hers asked this question, Sarah would have considered it a joke. Sarah's friends didn't ask such things, but Hester wasn't joking. It reminded Sarah of questions her mother asked. What was she really going to do with her life? Meaning, what was she going to do that was not painting? Sarah didn't know how to answer without irony, and so, as she often did with Hester, she felt belittled, exposed. I'll tell you mine, Hester said. I want to be Mike. I want to own one of these stores. That's where the real money is. You get yourself one of these, people work for you, you sit on your ass and make money. I don't even want to tell you how much this place pulls in, even on slow days. I cash out every night and carry the pouches over to the bank every morning. I know. You set yourself up in one of these, get it going right, borrow money from the bank to buy another one, then another. That's the really real money. That's Mike. Maybe if you step up your game, Hester added, I'll take you with me. Sarah grimaced politely, not meeting Hester's eyes. She knew what Turner, her boyfriend, would say, that Hester was brutal and vulgar, that she sought to exploit others as she herself had been exploited. They had marked the clock tower at UT with red paint handprints to protest the university's investment in South Africa. Turner opposed private property of any kind. When they moved the apartment, he said they were moving into the world of gritty realism. But this, what Hester believed in, Sarah thought, was the real world, the really real world. It was what Sarah's mother had to do after Sarah's father had left. Start a cake decorating business because she'd had nothing, not a house, not a job, certainly not a college degree. What about you? Sarah prodded. What about her? Sarah thought. Her plan had been to get a scholarship at Cooper Union, but she'd choked, hadn't even applied. In high school, she'd won a statewide painting scholarship, then a tri-state for her self-portraits. But now she was frozen, terrified. At UT, she'd taken gut requirements and one life drawing class, in which she had finished exactly one drawing, a reclining woman, her face caught in a rictus of pain. Sarah hated it. It looked like a female Pietà or the cover of a Joy Division album, melodramatic, pretentious, self-pitying. She couldn't explain any of this to Hester. Hester would not go to college then or ever. She would not win a scholarship of any kind. But neither, Sarah thought, could she explain herself right now to the art kids from her art school, her high school arts magnet, or the scrubbed and polished sorority girls in her life drawing class. She couldn't even explain where she was to Turner, or worse, she had tried and he hadn't understood, and worse, when he was drunk enough, he used what Sarah had told him to mock her. I don't know, she said. What about your boyfriend? What about him? Sarah said, unnerved for a moment that Hester had somehow read her mind. What's his plan? Hester asked. What was Turner's plan? Most days, when he wasn't sitting on the back porch, drinking gin, reading the drama of the gifted child, he sat at his desk and wrote. Sarah didn't know what to think of this, whether to regard it, as her mother would, as obscenely self-indulgent, or it's something like envy, like she had when she'd first met Turner, when she'd wished that she could be him. She told Hester that Turner was a writer. Hester asked if he had a job. Sarah said that he wrote. Hester wrinkled her nose. She asked if Turner gave Sarah flowers, cooked her dinner, bought her nice things. Sometimes he cooked dinner, Sarah said. What are you with him for if he don't treat you right? Hester said. You're too smart and too pretty just to settle. Sarah thought that Hester must be joking, trying to bond with her, girl to girl, by complaining about men. She felt herself freeze up, as if Hester had touched her someplace she shouldn't have. How could Hester fathom her relationship with Turner? How deeply entwined they were, how deeply in love. Anything she said in defense of Turner, Hester wouldn't understand. And anything she said in agreement with Hester would be a betrayal of Turner and herself. At least tell me it's good sex, Hester said, actually prodding her elbow. At least tell me he eats you out and don't just stick it in. Sarah felt herself blush to the roots of her hair. All of her sex with Turner, like all her sex before him, with the skate punks and club boys from the theater gallery, and even boys she'd loved or thought she'd loved, had occurred when she was drunk. When they first moved in, Turner and she had tried to do it sober, but it hadn't worked. The memory of them sitting on their mattress, avoiding each other's eyes like strangers on a bus, still made her cringe. It's great, she said, enraged. We fuck like rabbits. How about you? You got a boyfriend? I got an ex, Hester said, eyeing her. We don't talk about him. Did he treat you right? Sarah said, not caring at that moment if she got fired. Nothing was worth it, she thought, this humiliation. We don't talk about him, Hester said, flicking her cigarette into the parking lot, swinging open the brown metal service door, all in one swift motion. Shouted Spanish, and a blast of yeasty heat spilled out. Hester looked back over her shoulder, narrowing her blue-tinted eyes. Sarah braced herself to be fired. That don't matter, Hester said. Men don't matter. I'm putting you on the dinner shift. I want you back here by 5.
This has been a presentation of Austin Liti Limits, made possible with help from our good friends at Blue Ink Review, where typing "the end" is just the beginning. Find out more at blueinkreview.com.